the conversion of James, the half-brother of Jesus. And here's a fascinating case. We know for a historical fact that James was not a follower of Jesus during Jesus' lifetime. How do we know that? Well, first of all, it's reported in the New Testament. Well, why would you trust that? Because of what's called the criterion of embarrassment. When historians look at something historically that's embarrassing to the people who are reporting it, they know it's probably true, because why would you write something that's embarrassing to yourself and to your cause? Well, we know that in the first century, for someone like Jesus, a rabbi, not to have his family members as his followers was embarrassing. You would not admit that. You would not concede that if it weren't true. Well, New Testament tells us James was not a believer in Jesus during Jesus' lifetime. So it was probably true. Then we find later, reported in a secular source, Josephus, a Jewish historian, that James, is put to death later as a leader of the Jerusalem church. So he dies for his belief that Jesus is the Son of God, who proved it by returning from the dead. What happened? 1 Corinthians 15 tells us that Jesus, the resurrected Jesus, appeared to James. Now, what does it take? William Lane Craig, the scholar, likes to ask, what does it take you to convince you that your brother is the Son of God? It's got to be something pretty radical. You got to know my brothers, okay?
Yeah.
For my brothers to convince me that they're the Son of God, something radical's got to happen. Well, I'll tell you something radical happened to James, and that is that after 3 days in the tomb, Jesus appears alive to him and convinces him so powerfully, he ends up dying for his faith.
When you just think about that, that's got to be a moment.
Oh, man.
Okay? All of a sudden, he's face to face with his risen brother.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, all of his teachings and all that he said floods into his mind. He realizes, oh my, I was wrong.